Well, grab a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
All right, dear Davis to Flip, still in COVID formation, coming to you from our lovely abodes as we try to bring you this show and bring you a little bit of levity, a little bit of information, hopefully a little bit of happiness, and a lot of militant
Power
shit.
to the people.
Power to the people all the time. Ryan, give us what? There you go.
There you go.
You better be down, mother.
Hey, I got some producer stuff to do over here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Kenneth Davis. You know him. His name is
D. DeMond. What's happening, everybody? Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. On Facebook.com as well, Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. Click on the bio link. It takes you everywhere that we are. YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, everywhere. Just follow us, subscribe, rate, share, all that good stuff. I'm on IG and Twitter at Demonze1, DEMONZE1. Ken is on Twitter and IG at That's Davis. Executive producer of the D and Davis Show and everything that we do. Ryan Bukoveski. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski. And there you go. Keep that fist up. And IG Ryan B. Ski 1. And our main man, Sidney Brown. You can follow him on IG and Twitter at SidK8. Oh, Sid throwing up the bicep and the fists. All right. Hey, make sure you read all the Sid's articles too on weareregalradio.com.
All right, a third person has been charged in the murder of Ahmaud Aubrey. This is from ABC News. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation on Thursday said it arrested William Roddy Bryan Jr. Yeah, right. And they made sure to put him for Roddy. Right? Just full of racism. Roddy. That's racist ass Roddy. Look at Roddy, racist ass coming down the block. Full of hate. Roddy Bryan Jr., 50, on charges of felony murder and a criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment. Bryan took the viral cell phone footage depicting the chase and killing of Aubrey 25 on February 23rd in Glenn County. Bryan will be booked in Glenn County jail. GBI said an initial police report noted Bryan tried unsuccessfully to block Aubrey, who was jogging in the neighborhood when he was being confronted. So we know the parents have been asking for this. And finally, the guy that was filming it, who we don't get to see the scene, but he tried to block Aubrey when he was. So let you know he was up to some fuck shit. All right. He's finally gotten locked up for the time being, and they're charging him, and we're waiting to see what happens with him and the father and the son. But definitely it's good to know that they're bringing this dude in because his ass should have came in when the father and the son went in.
Hey, Ryan, can you do me a favor? Can you look up and see who's the DA on this? I think it's a black lady. I think they brought in a black lady.
Yeah, they did.
They did, right? See if you can get her name off, Ryan. But no, I can't listen. I know when this initially dropped, everybody was kind of like, so who's a mystery man? Who's the person that's filming this? Obviously, at least the people, saying in my opinion with some common sense and a little bit of this, kind of figure like, yeah, he was up to something. I think he was probably a part of this. You just don't roll down the street so quietly and just filming something on your phone, racist ass Roddy. So, but no, it's good to finally they, charge him too. Now, what's interesting, I don't know if everybody saw this. I think I brought this up before. He was on Chris Cuomo's show on CNN, him, Roddy, and his lawyer. And his lawyer was basically kind of like setting the blueprint of how he's going to do this in trial. He basically called Roddy dumb. And basically, in so many words, said like he don't know what he was doing. He's not really friends with him. You know what I'm saying? Basically, if you ever seen, I think he said something like, if you know the education system down here, it ain't that good. And my defendant, I'm like my client, like, damn, dude, you throw him on the bus like that. So that's where he's gonna go as far as his way of trying to get out of this. And also, too, they gotta be flipping on each other now. They gotta be talking because he's locked up in the same place the father and son is like the McMichaels. They all have to be talking. So I would think gotta be talking about
unless they're getting the wink.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, think about who they didn't bring them in. They didn't even bring their asses in. Going along with Ryan is saying, those authorities basically looked the other way because the father being a former officer and investigator. So who there's a chance.
Dimes. I don't think
but I think if there's any dimes to be dropped, it would probably be the father and son against him and him against them. I don't think the father and son. I don't think the father and son. Maybe they are going to go against each other.
No, I'm talking about the father and son going against racist ass Roddy.
But think about it though. This is another thing though, D. Roddy's been out free. So he's been able to get information probably to and from them through their lawyers. It's not like they've all been locked down. Even if they were locked down, the lawyers could still switch it. But he's been free while this has been going on.
I would think, guys, I think that's kind of risky if their lawyers, the father and son and Roddy's lawyer are talking to each other, because if any kind of discovery if that gets found out any kind of way to the prosecution, they all fuck. So that goes back to my point I was talking about Roddy when he was on CNN. He was basically trying to say he ain't got nothing to do with them and he is dumb. And Roddy didn't answer a question. He just stood there with his mop haircut and was like quiet, didn't say a word. So, I mean, anything is possible, you know what I'm saying, with cases like this, guys. But I would think that the father and son, like, man, no, Roddy ass is on here too. As you said, Ken, they said that Roddy was blocking his ass.
But this is the thing, though. If they say Roddy,
that video was long too.
But look, if they're throwing Roddy under the bus and he didn't shoot him, because basically what you're saying, if they like, man, he was in on it. Well, they're implicating themselves. What was he in on there, motherfucker? Mm. So are y'all guilty? So how can you throw him under the bus if you guys are doing a citizen's arrest, which legally it's not a citizen's arrest because it was not their property, right? If they're doing a citizen's arrest and you're videotaping it for them to verify that it's a citizen's arrest, how can you throw him under the bus? He was just doing what y'all asked him to do.
See it, Ryan? What y'all think?
I'm not an expert on criminal activity, but I do know this: when criminals get caught, they don't look out for nobody else but themselves. So, like you said, D, if any discovery, any trace of evidence comes back to them, that there's a fact that they don't want nobody else to know. If he gets put back on them, they're in trouble. So I'm not surprised at all this. Those people are only looking out for themselves because they got caught.
Emory never snitched on Jay-Z.
Not even Tata, huh?
No, not even Tata.
Ryan, what do you think?
He never told.
Yeah.
By the way, Joyette Holmes, I believe, is the DA that was brought in.
Well, how you spell the last name?
Like Lawrence Holmes.
Holmes?
Yes.
That's my people's last name, too.
Hey.
Could be
related. Maybe. I think a couple things. One, like now knowing that this guy was involved, it's just like crazy to me that this video even got out. Like, man, I'm so happy it got out in a way, because otherwise this would just be non-justice, period. It would
his lawyer put it out.
Nothing. Yeah, I say he leaked it. They leaked it kind of cover his ass.
Roddy's
lawyer.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if he had done...
He's like, Roddy, he was not there. Look, he's filming it. He was not in that situation, right? He put that out. You ain't do nothing, right? I'm going to get you off.
If they're all working together, why the hell would he even want this video for some supposed citizen arrest? I mean, to me, that just seems like ridiculous. Wouldn't you try to cover it up instead?
Ryan, when you're lynching in the 2020s, you want proof to verify your lynch is legal. Right? Because they went to do some lynching. They were like, you don't show, like, dog, for instance.
You say pictures of us. You say pictures of us.
Dude, you don't show up, and we live in the hood. You don't show up to nobody's crib fully armed up. You don't roll up. There's only one thing you telling somebody when you roll up fully armed up. It's show ass. All right? That's the like brandishing weapon. Like, I know it's Georgia, and it's a standing whatever.
Stand your ground.
Thank you, D. Stand your ground state, but still, these idiots, right? And then think about one of them a cop. They are idiots. One of them's a cop, so he legally thinks he has the right to do. Man, this is my old job, man. I'm about to get back on the old horse. And then think about the fact that we found out now that the homeowner, how a cop told him, yeah, just hit up big old man McMichael if you get anything on the camera. Like a cop, they have the message. Yes, they have a message from a cop. So a cop told him, you know, he ain't got to worry about us. Old man McMichael says he been dying. If anything happens at that property, he said he'll let him know any time of day, right? And gave him McMichael's number.
So okay. All right. So this is new to me. Mm-hmm. So did the homeowner? Because the homeowner, I seen an interview with him. And I seen the one with him. Yeah, like, but he basically like, I had nothing to do with this. Yeah, but he's a little bit slicker. It's slicker than that. I saw the one you talking about when he had his lawyer on there, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he was like, I don't know them. Yeah. Somebody introduced me. He said somebody introduced him to the son in that interview, right? Right. No. A cop had sat there, I believe it was text, I don't know if it was voicemail message, but told him
basically McMichael's been he's there for you, basically like he's security of this area to a certain degree. Yeah. If something happened, he said for you to hit him if you see anything on that motherfucking camera.
So. But he didn't hit him.
He didn't hit him. Remember, he called after, and that's when he found out that Aubrey was already dead. Right. When a homeowner called later, he found out. So he did not engage them at that time to do anything from as far as what we know right now.
So do we think there's going to be? Do we still have court TV? Can we still watch trials?
I forget what comes on Court TV station, but yeah, Court TV is still on. I don't know. It's been a long time since we had anything Court TV worthy.
What about the young girl who had killed the kid down in Florida, her daughter down in Florida? What was that girl's name? That was kind of on TV. Trayvon Martin was a little bit on TV, but it wasn't as much as kind of like OJ. That was like prime time.
That made Court TV.
Yeah, that made Court That made Court TV. Yeah. Well, I'm just happy that the dude got racist ass right. He got arrested.
Right,
he was up to something.
Just to me, it's kind of crazy too, because you would think with an ex-cop, he'd be like, "Yo, we don't need to prove anything. We just need to do this, this, and this, and we'll get away with it." Right. And there'll be too much deniability.
How many times we see on body cam police officers still doing fuck shit
and covering it up, telling other cops. Remember that kid? He's
not a cop. No, kid? I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying it's the emboldeness of a cop. Sometimes they be like, "Man, okay." I saw a video last night, dude.
But I'm saying those cops that you're talking about with the body cam. They're trying to cover it up, right? They're not trying to get a citizen's arrest. Like, I'm through. Right. I did right. Like, you would think that's would be his mindset. I'm doing something illegal. Basically, I know it's illegal. Even if I have some legal grounds, people can argue it's illegal. Let's just do this, this, and this and cover it up.
I guess he don't care.
I'm amazed by that.
I think he thought he was I think this dumbass thought he was legal. Also, I saw something that was talking about, and this is alleged, but kids that people that went to school with the son was like he was one of the most racist motherfuckers in the school. And as soon as they heard it, they was like, yeah, it sounds just about right.
Is it this alleged too? I see a lot of pictures. It shouldn't base anything on Twitter, but they basically say like the father was a part of the Klansman. I mean, it's like pictures and stuff like that. That could be fabrication. Sure. That could be Twitter. I mean, social media.
Photoshop or whatever.
Yeah, Photoshop or propaganda.
But chances are he probably is.
Based on what he did.
Yeah.
You can't assume, but people that are motivated to lynch are usually a part of that game.
Right. Yeah. And he never ran out there on all those white people that came in and out that house with the shotguns ready to go.
Hell no. And get my two cronies to back me up. One of them's my son.
Then there was the flip. All right, this story is coming out of BuzzFeed. As he sat in his bed in the Boston Hospital coronavirus ward, Mike Schultz chatted with one of his favorite nurses about his treatment and being sedated and intubated. He said, "I thought it was only had been going by a week." That's when she let him know that he had been in the ward for 1 week and he'd been there for 6 weeks. And he hadn't been there for 1 week. He'd been there for 6 weeks. I apologize. He was like, I was so weak. This is one of the most frustrating parts. I couldn't hold my cell phone. It was so heavy. I couldn't type because my hands shook so much. The 43-year-old nurse from San Francisco had no underlying health conditions. He normally worked out 6 or 7 times a week. He weighed about 190 when he spoke to BuzzFeed on Tuesday. After he'd been able to start eating foods again, he weighed just 140. His lung capacity is only now starting to slowly come back. I thought I was going into he said, I knew what I thought going into coronavirus. I didn't think it was that serious until after suffering it started happening to me. He said, I thought I was young enough for it not to affect me. I know a lot of people think that also. I want to show it can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're young or old or have pre-existing conditions or not. It can affect you.
Listen, when I saw that picture, I thought it was some Photoshop shit too. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, this is my BuzzFeed. Let me start reading this article a little bit more. I'm like, whoa, like the giraffe. He looks like two different people. Dude is, before he was jacked, he said like 190. Dude was in shape. I saw an interview with him too. So I'm like, man, I worked out every day. I'm very fit. You know what I'm saying? I have no underlying conditions. And for his body to take that virus, the virus affect his body that way, for him to drop, what's that, 50 pounds? 30, 40 pounds? Like that?
50 pounds. 50 pounds.
Yeah, drop 50 pounds like that? That is nuts. Yeah, but no, listen, I hope this is another clear case of people taking this virus seriously, especially for people who are younger and fit. Not saying that it affects everybody, because you can walk around, be asymptomatic, and nothing happens to you. Or it can, and this is kind of like two extremes I'm explaining. You have be asymptomatic and just be just fine, for the most part, maybe have a little bit of a sniffles, but go along your day as if nothing's really happening. or to this point where he was in the hospital for 6 weeks, thought he was in there for a week, and lost 50 pounds. That should let you know right there, like, man, listen, this ain't nothing to mess with.
I mean, if you still think it's something to mess with at this point,
and people, man,
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying us or anybody, but
I know.
I mean, even I have to admit, man, I'm like this last couple of days. If I didn't catch it already, I'm ready to catch it.
Yeah, you don't want to catch it. No, you don't.
I'm tired. I'm joking.
See, you on here look like a lollipop head.
I'm joking. I'm tired.
Hey, I think it's fair to vent that out, Ken. I think it's fair to say, even though you don't believe in it.
Yeah, I'm tired, man. I'm ready to get outside the house.
No.
I want to go. I want to do something.
Keep your ass in there.
I'm not.
In the house.
No. Wait, I'm not going to do.
I know
for a second here.
I know what you're saying.
So see, this is what he's doing. So now this is what he's going to do. So for the people to actually do it, he's going to sit and get on them at their deathbeds. But for us who are staying in the house, he's going to be on us who are standing in the house too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, I'm not going anywhere. It's just
take the heckle out of the heckler. I need
to change a venue in this bitch. Right, like this is the time that I know I should have enough money to own a cabin. Because we would have taken several trips to that cabin, somewhere isolated, and been outside, really enjoying ourselves. But man, I need a switch up. I'm just saying, again, I'm just voicing my how I feel. I'm not going to risk my family, and we've done such a good job in quarantine while below it. Go ahead, Ryan.
Just to piggyback off what you said, having a cabin. I was talking with one of my friends over the phone yesterday, and he was saying how his parents, they have this lake house in Johnsburg. It's kind of the chain of lakes, if you guys are familiar. It's a really nice house, but his parents, they are kind of trying to move out of there and get rid of it, but they're putting it up for rent right now. Somebody paid $20,000 to come over and stay for the month, and they're just vacationing quarantine there because they were planning on sending over like a cleaning service like once every week or something. They said, don't bring anybody. We're just quarantining. We don't want anything. We'll send pictures. We'll do whatever. Don't check up on us at all. And I was like, man, that must be nice.
Damn.
That must be nice. You know what? We're going to spend $20,000 on vacationing this year anyways. Let's just go to a lake house for a month and just quarantine there.
Where is this lake located again?
It's the chain of lakes. It's over in like Johnsburg. It's basically northwest, right by Wisconsin. It's like Johnsburg, Richmond, very like kind of rurally area, but slowly developing.
Wow, 20 stacks for a month.
And you were about to sell it. So now put that 20 on top of what you're about to sell it for.
Well, I'd be interested. I wonder how much they're willing to sell it for. I was watching HGTV. $1 million homes, whatever like that. But somebody, not $1 million homes, lottery winners. And somebody, I think a family had won like 250,000. So I'm like, well, no more, you're not a millionaire. So what are you about to buy? But it was like, we want to buy a lake house. And I'm like, well, how much does a lake house cost? Man, them lake houses going for like $150,000, $175,000.
On the cheap.
And they be like, dude, and it was like, yeah, this spacious lake house for 750 square feet. I'm like, it's a damn apartment. And it's going for how much? I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. So maybe they'll be able to get something, Ken.
No, they're going to get something. They'll be fine. They'll put some of those twos on top of some of them threes and some of those fours. Dude, again, that's what my money isn't proper, because that's what, like, I would love to put the family in the truck, drive for a couple hours. You know, y'all can run it as long as I can still see y'all. I'm still not trusting that. Kids, just go off into the woods.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'll be able to fish a little bit, be able to camp.
They're old enough.
See, Ron, I'm down with that. And I still probably should bring the Luger, but I'm not laying outside on just weaponless with nature. I need a door and some ceiling and some walls in this bitch.
Where's the old crossbow, honey? I need something in between.
I'm going to tell y'all this too with my cabin. I'm going to just let y'all know. But when I have my cabin and y'all come.
Cabin life.
Listen, because it's not going to be like how y'all usually do y'all cabins where it's like, we getting away from everything. No, that flat screen's going to be all up in that bitch.
Yeah, what? I'm not going into nature at a cabin without a flat screen. Come on.
I'm just making sure. I'm just excited. Like some of my friends are like, y'all just do activities all day? Listen, I want to do the activities.
Yes.
But I still got to be able to watch the game out in nature and do what I need to do.
You still got to live life, man.
Right. Correct. All right. This one comes out of Yahoo Sports. Imagine giving one athlete in sports history a career do-over. All injuries and off the field or on-court problems just magically disappear forever. Who would you pick? Yahoo pointed out a few people. So the first one, Chicago's very own Derrick Rose, and I'll definitely take a minute. I want you guys to think about it so we can find out who you pick. The second one is Robert Griffin III. The third, Bo Jackson. The fourth, Greg Oden. Another Portland Trailblazer player, Brandon Roy, is the fifth. And last but not least, Cubs pitcher, Kerry Wood. D.
So out of them, who would I rather be?
Who would you rather them get a career do-over due to their career being shortened for some reason or another?
Oh.
Yeah, off-field or on-field shortened.
Man. I might have to go with Bo, because Bo was the only person he will probably be the only modern day person we will be able to see if possible.
Might?
No. I was going to say, he might be the only person that we could still see that could still be an all-star in two sports.
Right.
So, because I know we saw it before, but if we just actually let his body stay healthy, that hip, you know what I'm saying, he had a hip injury, and he can live out his career to what it probably once was. And even after the injury, he still had a great baseball career.
He didn't have a great baseball career.
I'm just saying.
He had a decent for a guy with no hip.
That's what I'm talking about.
He had a decent career.
Listen, if you ain't have a hip and he was still able to do what he was able to do, my hats off to you. So that's the only thing I'm saying. But he was able to still have a good career.
Yeah.
But man, I'd probably have to go with Bo Jackson. I think he's the greatest athlete in American sports history. That's my pick. But for him to be able to stay healthy and do it over again, oh hell yeah, Bo Jackson.
Honorable mention, of course, D Rose, but at least we got to see him become an MVP.
Yeah.
Mine was a no-brainer as Bo Jackson, because to be able to see somebody, as D alluded to, play both sports at the highest level, and he was just starting to understand baseball. Imagine if he could still field, and imagine how much power he lost through his hips and his swing. You know what I'm saying? So if you could just think about some of those running plays as a Raider back in the days and seeing him run into the tunnel in Seattle, it would have to be a whole career of Bo Jackson, because you've never seen somebody do it at that level in both of those sports. And in particular, I would definitely want to see where his football career went, but I would love to see where his baseball career went when you have former Major League Baseball players saying that if he only played baseball, he could have been a Hall of Famer. See it?
Mm-hmm. Do we have to pick from that list, or?
Pick from the list, then tell us who you want.
Okay, from that list, I will go with Derrick Rose, because that year in 2012, it was a shortened 66-game lockout season schedule. And I truly believe they would have had a chance to beat the Miami Heat that year in the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals, because look at it. Boston was in the end of their run with Pierce Garnett and Ray Allen. And number two, LeBron James did not have his first championship yet. So they would have had another opportunity to perhaps knock out the Heat. Like D said, we saw Derrick Rose winning MVP, but that Bulls team, they were right there to steal a championship, as you would say, Ken.
Real quick, I want to know who you had outside of that, Sid. One thing, though, Paul Pierce has been coming at Bron and not being on his top five, but he had a real good point that I read. He said this. He said if they didn't get Ray Allen, LeBron only gets one title, and that Miami really underperformed, which in a way is true. Mm-hmm. But they say if Ray Allen doesn't hit that shot, San Antonio wins two. Right, and just like that, when you put together that type of team, but Sid, who was it that wasn't on the list that you wanted to, if you could do over, you would do over?
Okay, actually, I have two real quick. In basketball, Grant Hill, because he was the second small forward that could handle the ball like Scottie Pippen. Only Grant Hill had a better offensive skills.
Third, Paul Pressey, Sid. Don't disrespect Paul Pressey.
No, I remember Paul Pressey, Milwaukee, then San Antonio at the end of his career. I remember Paul Pressey. For a few of you hockey fans that may be watching, Eric Lindros, he had a good career, but it got overshadowed by a series of concussions.
Right.
He was supposed to be the next great thing, but he had concussion issues throughout his career.
Like that, Graham Hill.
That's a good one.
Off the list, I mean, so obviously I care way more about the Chicago Bulls than any other athlete that was listed there. So Derrick Rose would be pretty high. I love me some RG3, though, except he went to that racist-ass team. But, man, I really was a big RG3 fan that rookie year. I would have liked to see him going. That's just kind of my thing. I'm not saying it wouldn't
have worked out.
Probably, but I really liked RG3.
He didn't learn how to quarterback. He should have been able to throw the ball from the pocket by now in Memphis.
Hey, Ken, who do you have off the list? Can you think of anybody off the top of your head?
Anybody that's not on this list, I got a person who it's similar
let me give mine. Let me give mine first.
Go ahead.
Let me give mine first.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Mine would be Mike Tyson. If he doesn't go with the off-field, the rapey, all that stuff, and he kept going on as a boxer, I think boxing would have been such a bigger deal in the 90s, even more so. And to me, that's a sport I wish I could have saw in its golden era or when it's really on top.
80s,
and Mike
90s
Tyson,
boxing.
He's really the last relic of that for me. Like, I wasn't alive for anything.
Yeah, you didn't want to see a lot of 80s. Tyson won't fight nobody. Tyson is in a period where they're really like now. If Tyson, what would happen to him is he would have lost to people like Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis because those tall guys would have been a real big issue for Tyson, especially those young tall guys. But that's a good one. For me, I guess I'll give you two real quick. One, I wish Alonzo Mourning never had a kidney issue because he isn't put in the proper space of where he was as a center. There were some years earlier on that I preferred him over Shaq.
But then that kind of happened towards the end of his career, though.
No, it was like that's what it was. It was like late. But think about it, how he was on that Heat team that actually won.
Yeah, but he was a backup.
He was about, just like when you ever, like they keep showing that Vince Carter dunk on him when he was in net and he yaks it on Mourning. The part they don't show is right before that Mourning blocked his dunk and that's what he's going back to get and he's coming back again. But I would have loved to see Zoe full strength because he would be a top 10 center if he was full strength. Like he would have more defensive MVPs probably. I mean, he's just really missing a cohort to really take him on to another level. So because that's Grant Hill to me is another one, but I put him and Grant Hill in a similar box as far as those players from that era that when we were growing up that didn't get to necessarily grow. Now this is my next one. And I know part of this is a large part of his legacy. I would have liked to see what would happen if they never took boxing away from Muhammad Ali.
That's a good one. That's a real good one. That's a good one. One I was thinking of, kind of go old school too. What if Gale Sayers didn't get the injury that he had? If he would have stayed fully healthy,
you may not have a Walter Payton here.
Well, yeah, and you might have a new greatest running back.
You may not have Walter Payton here because
I was thinking.
That's like 5 to 6 years after he gets drafted. Like 5 to 6 years after Gale. I mean, ended his career. Yeah, Gale Sayers was playing in the 60s. Walter Payton got drafted in like 72?
75.
75? Yeah. So.
And when did Gale Sayers retire?
I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah, if y'all can look it up. Was it the late 60s? I don't think he played into the 70s, did he?
I think it was the late 60s.
He would have been so sweet.
Yeah, if Gale Sayers' body would have held up all the way through, you know what I'm saying? Really his knees. If his knees would have held up all the way.
He retired in 1972.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. And when Walter, he was drafted in 75?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And how many years did Gale play? What, 6?
He started in 65.
Mm-hmm.
He started in 65.
He played in parts of 6 seasons, I believe.
Yeah.
So, because he had 2 to 3 knees, and back then a blown ACL was the end of your career, basically.
Yeah. Imagine if you would have had some of those guys, have the medicine, the technology back then with some of those guys. I mean, you talking about, Ryan, you 100% right with that. You might be talking about somebody else being the greatest running back of all time because, man, you wasn't stopping Gale Sayers, and he was doing it all over the place. Yeah, I would love to see. I can't think of anybody else. Derrick Rose, definitely. But go. Who you guys said?
Real quick, as far as Gale Sayers is concerned, could you say the same thing about Terrell Davis? I think he's in the Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
He almost had the same career as Gale Sayers.
Yeah.
He had a knee injury that cut his career.
But he wasn't no Gale though.
And listen, I'm a big TD fan.
Yeah, I like TD. Yeah.
But one thing, unfortunately, that was proven is that TD is an exception. But what Mike Shanahan was doing with that zone blocking scheme, because he was just getting dudes off the street, just rushing for a G. It was like, what?
Yeah.
You got this dude from Arby's? Like it was.
Think about that. He had that scheme, and it's gone all the way to his son. And now Raheem Morstead is like
exactly.
Like, how many no-names?
That's the only problem with that. I mean, but look about it. TD ran for 2 stacks in that offense. Yeah. But still, looking at that offense, like if you think about all these other running backs that we like, if they played in that scheme, you know what I'm saying? What type of yards they would have put up?
Hey, even think about Ralph Sampson. If it was his feet, right? Wasn't Ralph Sampson's feet took?
No, it was his heart.
Oh, man.
It was, man. This is hard.
Damn.
This is hard, bro. He wasn't a go-getter like that.
And listen, he was on a finals team with
Yeah,
down there in
Houston.
Houston.
Yeah.
But if his feet would have stayed up, man. Oh, how about this one? Danny Manning.
Dude, Danny Manning was broken when he was born.
Oh, come on, man.
How many times you get, like, he was broken in Kansas. Like, you can't keep, listen.
But then he had some skill, though. He can't.
I remember, I wish I had on the shirt, that real quick, the night that we were at that brewery with your boys or whatever. Argus. We was with Sean.
Rest in peace. Argus is closed.
Really?
Yeah, because of coronavirus. And so is 3 Floyds.
I saw 3 Floyds. But is it going out of business or is it just closed?
I think so.
But what's his name? John was like, man, imagine if Tupac was alive. And I was like, man, if Tupac was alive, he'd still be dead. They was going to get him. All right? He was asking for it. He was going to catch it. All right? Best believe. He take us out.
All right. Hey, we'll come on back, have some more fun. Dean Davis, The Flip.
All right, this is coming from Market Watch. Consumption of wild animals in the Chinese city of Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, has been banned just weeks after America's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, called for an end to the wet markets trading in exotic meats.
Interesting.
Meat. Lion, tigers, and bears, I'm joking. Lion, tigers, right? Peacocks, pangolins, which has been a part of this show, the pangolin. It should actually be like the symbol of the show, the pangolin, are now off the menu. All right? Are now off the menu after the municipal government in Wuhan announced this week that a new policy has come to effect banning breeding, hunting, consumption of wild animals. The law will be in place for 5 years. I think it should be longer. Other species, including bat and snake, also been banned as a part of the national push to prevent population from eating wildlife. It is thought that the sale and consumption of exotic meats in wet markets has spawned diseases. The first case of coronavirus are thought to have come from a wet market in Wuhan in the province of Hubei. Scientists think that the virus originated in bats, transferred to humans through another animal, which in a show, one of the shows we were in, the pangolin is suggested to be the animal that it transferred into human beings because there's a certain gene that was missing that the bat had. The pangolin kind of, he took care of that for him. All right. This has shown a spotlight on the global market of exotic meats, the way that they are procured, and the hygiene around the sale and consumption. The market for wild animals is worth an estimated $73 million and provides work for as many as 14 million people.
See, that's where I was going to go with it. The job market for this. Obviously, this isn't like underworld kind of a thing, you know what I'm saying? Anything illicit. Now, moving it from country to country, I was gonna say, moving it from country to country, that could be illegal. But having the wet markets out there, you just, you know what I'm saying, killing whatever these animals, and you able to sell them. And if it's fine within that government, then it's fine within that government. But people,
and I think another thing too is how the meat is handled. Legally, it wouldn't be legal.
It wouldn't be legal.
But because maybe state to state or just the want of it, it's good enough for us.
There you go. So, but look at the jobs. So how many you said? 14,000 jobs?
14 million.
14 million jobs.
On tiger balls.
Off of wild meat that people want to eat. Now, imagine if you take all that away. China is just now, for the most part, because it's a dictatorship, is just now kind of bringing a lot of people that was in poverty into somewhat of a middle class, or somewhat not middle class, out of poverty. Imagine if you say 14 million people, you can't do this. Now, as much as we don't like it, and as much as saying that you shouldn't do it, but just think about the effect of it and the effect on those people and the economy, and then what those people are going to be able to turn around or what they're going to have to do to survive. That's crazy. So, I mean, I'm not for big game hunting. I don't think you should hunt anything anyway.
How they get that tiger meat up in there, though? Because that ain't too many places.
It's wild, yeah.
I'm just saying, but you're bringing the meat to the tip?
Yeah.
They can't be getting, you can't be feeding, there can't be enough wild game hunts to provide that much tiger meat.
Well, I mean, and it's probably coming from these private zoos. That's where they have these big cats and they have nothing to do with.
You're right.
Possibly.
So we're gonna blame Joe Exotic is out here giving up that premium tiger ass.
Probably would.
Listen, they have to get it somewhere, right? And I think,
and that comes back to the food handling thing. Okay, I have this big dead ass tiger. I need to ship it to Asia. I'm sure they're not doing it the best way possible.
And I can get something. I can get something for it, and then those. I mean, listen.
You got to branch Ricky that tiger meat, and before that tiger died, when he on his last day, send him over there while that meat's still fresh.
Wait a minute,
instead of that dead tiger ass?
They're probably just doing old school, baby. Just a little salt on top, little salt bay. That's good enough. Oh, that takes care of the germy.
Wait a minute, aren't tigers damn near extinct?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wild. Not in private.
They said breeding. Yeah. You don't want that inbred tiger meat. You want fresh wild. Because you know they don't let the mama fuck the boy. She ain't gonna bring in no new tiger dicks.
Well, they got too many already. They could probably randomize it. Look at Joe Exotic. He was like, I got too many male tigers and female tigers that are full grown. I don't know what to do with.
Right? What they say on there, like you only got about 18 months to make money off that tiger, and then you got to move on from that tiger. Like, as long as people can't pet that tiger, the tiger got to go.
Then it just becomes a financial burden.
So
giant hole in the ground.
Guys, as my daughter says, guys. Listen, I got one for y'all, though.
Okay.
Because now we got to think of these new hustles, all right? The world is changing around us. There's no, as far as I know, black wildlife refuge for tigers, right? With one white guy in the crew, or two. What we could do
They might have them in Africa, though.
Yeah, but we talking about in the States.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about in the States.
Wasn't it a dude in Brooklyn had a tiger in his house? In the projects?
No. That's not what Ken's talking about.
I'm trying to get. I'm saying is what we need to do is get us some tigers for these people to pet, make that money off of them, right? Before they died, still fresh. Just get us a plug, send their ass over to China. You trying to get paid or you trying to motherfucking not?
Oh, I thought we were opening conservation, not a.
That's what I thought we was going.
Listen, that's the front. Listen, guys. We live by the Danny Ferry philosophy. The front of the store is on the up and up. The back, we're selling illegal goods.
Wow, man.
Look at this
Ken
dude.
Exotic over here.
I know, right? Look at this dude right here. Look at this dude right here.
People go eat that tiger ass. Either you get in the way of it or you get ran over by it. But people go eat that tiger ass.
I can imagine Ken, like that story with Joe Exotic when this poor woman brings this horse. Can you just put him out to just live his final days? Sure. Next second she's gone, cut that thing up and feed it to the tigers.
I didn't get to that episode.
No, that wasn't in an episode. That's what they do afterwards.
Okay. Well, but see, you know what? Again, and that lets me know that he's not raising his tigers properly because I want my tigers to still feel that little wildness to them. I would have thrown the horse in there and then let them go at it. But see, those are whole ass tigers.
Man, you listen. You go ahead and throw that horse in there. Next thing you let somebody walk up in their ass and they're like, "Oh shit, that's a horse. I'm about to eat this person."
Has to have a gun out in nature and wants to just feed horses to tigers.
Listen, you don't need a horse. It took old girl arm off. You don't need a horse. And the girl was like, I was back there the next day.
I didn't. You know what? I didn't finish that. I watched the first episode.
I watched two, I think.
I'm out.
I watched two. I think I would go back for at least another one.
I mean, it's a fun story.
It's a fun story.
Did the woman wait a minute, who's the lady that fed her husband?
Allegedly
fed her husband to a tiger? Was her name Karen?
Carol
Baskin.
Like, it was entertaining, but these people are just like a lot of the people that working at the zoos are good people that care about the animals. Well, maybe not good, but they care about the animals and they dedicate their lives to it. Like Joe and these Carols and all these people, they are just like the scum of the earth. So I could see why you'd want to turn it off.
Sid, have you watched it? Have you seen Tiger King?
No, I've heard about it, but I haven't seen that one episode.
I don't think you guys are missing much. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Wait, hold on. The dude from, who was it? They did it's going to be like a TV show for it.
Nicolas Cage?
Oh, yeah. I put that in the
Nicolas
flip
Cage.
topic.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Yeah. He's going to play
CBS limited series. He's going to be the
Joe
Exotic. Yeah.
It's a damn shame. Is he still with us or he's still in
jail? He's in jail.
He's in jail.
Oh, okay. All right. I know.
I don't think he's getting out anytime soon.
Okay.
Unless his buddy Trump helps. I thought that was the last where it was at. He was begging for a pardon.
I saw a dirty cop that it went across my phone. It had to be here in Illinois. A dirty cop that was robbing drug dealers got out 6 years earlier today because of Corona. So everybody's getting their partners out right now. You got a partner. You better make sure you send it up the chain.
Hey, man, he was robbing drug dealers? If they know he back on the street. Yeah, he might want to stay.
Right there.
He might want to stay in jail.
ain't got to come back here.
Hey, don't say that about Omar.
You can live free. You can live free any other place. All right.
Arkansas.
This from Yahoo. No, not there, D.
Straight like no.
The Ozarks.
Nebraska, just like Compton.
Straight from Yahoo Sports. Strip Chat, an adult website company, announced in an email to Yahoo Sports a $15 million bid Thursday for the naming rights for the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, home of the New Orleans Saints. It comes after the team says the Mercedes-Benz won't renew its contract with the team. So they was like, we're going to keep the one in Atlanta.
Really?
We ain't keeping this one. This was the company's offer sheet, guys.
Wait, what's the name of the company again?
Strip Chat.
Oh, okay.
In our opinion, New Orleans is a party capital of the United States. It's always been synonymous with the nightlife and entertainment. It comes alive at night with people wandering the neon-hued promenade of one of the most famous nightlife strips in the world, Bourbon Street. I like to think that we here at Strip Chat embody those New Orleans characters and flair. As one of the world's leading adult webcam sites that average more than 60 million visitors per month, we know a thing or two about having a good time. We've been looking into penetrating the sports world and think this is a wonderful opportunity. I didn't read this before to do so by announcing a bid for $15 million for the naming rights to the Superdome.
Well, number one, I think Vegas is the number one party town in the country, not New Orleans.
Right.
Number two, I'm kind of shocked that Mercedes-Benz is leaving New Orleans. The Saints is still, it's an NFL team. I'm surprised they want to have two instead of one. That's kind of sad.
But they're probably not.
They don't want to pay for two.
Yeah, they're not seeing
Mercedes-Benz.
But they're not seeing the revenue generating from it, though.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll tell you another thing. Probably
that's interesting.
Probably the Superdome being the Superdome, putting your name on it doesn't change the fact that people call it the Superdome.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's definitely called Superdome over there.
Well, listen, shout out to them. You talking about this wetlands? I'm not wet life.
Wet market.
Wet market exotic. We need to get into some strip. What is it called again? Strip what?
Strip chat.
Strip chat. That's what they doing. The right thing.
Okay. Listen.
If they able to get, and they won't
talk about a wet.
They won't be able to do it.
Yeah. that's.
But I mean, shout out to them. If they're able to get an NFL team.
Wait. Let me lay this back.
Yeah.
So now selling tiger ass to people that want to eat it, but you want to deal in sex trafficking. This is what you're telling me.
Where's that sex trafficking?
Come on, dogs. You know all those girls in those rooms prefer not to be in those rooms, brother. It's somebody on the outside that room. Like, get your ass up in there and show something. All right. Don't think 60. Come on, now, D. Somebody is pimping on that right there. Believe that. They may not. You may not sit in their face during your little webcam. But as soon as that webcam goes off, she's gonna be.
One thing I would play devil's advocate to that. All these Instagram influencers,
OnlyFans.
Listen, that's not that. Listen,
they're just getting cash.
Those are freelancers. Those are freelancers.
We can't freelance with them.
Listen, Strip Chat don't freelance.
Hey, listen,
you can't freelance if you don't have a huge following. This probably gives them a chance to freelance without a following.
Wait a minute, I don't know what the payment structure is going for OnlyFans, but OnlyFans.com, they got to be making a lot of damn money right about now.
I don't see why.
What you mean you don't see why?
Why are you
During
going to
COVID?
Whoa. This is all I'm saying. Why are you going to, and unless you just love this lady in particular, OnlyFans page for anything where porn is free? In a porn-free world society?
People want to pay.
You
Some people
just answer your question.
Want to support.
If you're obsessed with one porn
they want to
star,
support.
You want to go to that one.
Watch that old footage.
Why you knocking his and her hustle?
I'm not knocking it. And listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this too. Some of those girls in those OnlyFans pages, and somebody's got their knuckle up to their face too. Like, you better get out there and make it work.
No doubt.
All right.
I hope not.
No doubt.
Okay, D. I mean, I think you know the black market enough.
I mean, yeah, that's part of the deal.
Oh no! Listen, now on the streets they be pimping hard, but them OnlyFans pages is clean.
Anything you see on a computer, that's fine. The real life stuff, that's what you gotta be looking at.
This person is putting their sexuality out themselves.
Have you never heard the dialogue? It's always like, I really want this. This is the best thing of my life.
That's what I've been waiting for since grade school. All right.
Oh, man.
This is from Politico. African-American support was crucial to former Vice President Joe Biden's 2020 primary victory. His ability to turn out black voters in November could make or break the general election for Democrats. So after comments to a popular black radio personality Friday morning induced queasiness among some of his allies, the party's presumptive presidential nominee eventually apologized later in the day. In an interview on The Breakfast Club that aired Friday morning, Biden responded to a question from the show's co-host, Charlamagne the God, by saying, "If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black."
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
He walked back those remarks hours later, acknowledging in his campaign call with black business leaders that he was perhaps been much too cavalier. I know the comments have come off like I was talking to African Americans or taking African Americans' vote, for granted, but nothing could be further from the truth. I've never done that, and I've earned it every time that I've run. I was making a point that I've never taken the vote for granted. And in fact, I know in order to win the presidency, I needed the African-American vote. And it is the driving force, as I said in the beginning of my campaign a year ago, to being able to win this first place bid to win the primary. And it's going to be critical to winning the presidency.
Listen, I think with Joe Biden's comment, I watched the entire interview. The interview off jump, it started off GP contentious.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure somebody been telling Joe Biden, or at least Joe Biden don't know himself, that Charlamagne's been talking hard shit about him since the start of the presidential campaign back in the Democrats nomination thing, primaries, I should say. So it started off kind of like, yeah, I know who you are, and you know Joe Biden, he always want to either fight you or do some push-ups against you. So he came in kind of like red-ass about it, right? The comments himself, though, he tried, like you said, Ken, he tried to be cavalier. I guess he tried to be funny. Some people talking about he trying to make a joke. I don't think he's trying to make a joke. I think he probably meant to. I think he basically was trying to contrast himself between Trump and himself. And he basically saying, I don't know if he heard some of his younger black folks say this around, his staffers, or he wants to say, like, listen, man, if you vote for that mother, you ain't black. And I first heard, I'm like, whoa, because I got Brandon Pope from WCIU The Jam tweeted it out. I'm like, he said that? Like, he really said that? Like, okay, I got to go watch this interview. So, listen, I think he was trying to contrast himself between Trump and himself. But that's some bullshit. It was ignorant as hell to say it. I'm not saying that some people probably don't think when you have somebody who's black and support Trump, they'll probably look at them like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Because you know that motherfucker don't like us. So in some people, and in some people's eyes, he's probably was speaking the truth. But stick to the script. Just go on there, answer the questions, be contentious. I like the fact that Charlamagne was contentious against him, because I think all interviews should have a little contention to kind of really get out what you're thinking. But just stick to the script, get your ass out of there, and go on to the next interview.
All right. So
but he apologized.
Yeah. See, this
it's going to be old news by tomorrow.
This is a sad state of where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
With two motherfuckers running for the presidencies who old asses shouldn't be running for the presidency.
We need a maximum age.
Crazy Uncle Joe, popping off all the time. Pop Smoke is what we're gonna start calling his ass, right?
No, wait a minute. Papa Smoke or Pop Smoke?
Or what about Uncle Pop Smoke?
Uncle Pop Smoke. You know what? But some of these kids are gonna get mad at us for that. But for right now, Uncle Pop Smoke, and then 45 crazy ass on the other side, talking about the trunk. The churches are essential places also. Right. I mean, you know it's bad when preachers are coming out like, stay at home, right? Like when preachers are like, keep the money at the crib, we good.
We'll get it from you later.
Listen, exactly, D. Listen, Joe Biden had no business saying that shit. Him saying it lets you know that even though he says he doesn't take the black vote for granted, he takes the black vote for granted. Because you wouldn't let that shit come to flying out your motherfucking mouth. As far as you trying to dictate what makes somebody black or not. Now, his reasoning, I can understand, because Trump really has given very little to black people. And you could say that coming from Obama's economy, and then Trump did, you know, with deregulation stuff, keep it going and propped up. It was supposed to be a recession coming anyway, even though it's going to end up being worse than that. Man, to me, it's real fucked up. And I agree with you, D. People are already trying to wash over it, kind of like the Tara Reid situation, where we're trying to form this war against somebody, and we had to pick the person that middle America would probably vote on. right? But was probably the person that was one of the least. I don't want to say that he wasn't ready, but he just passed his prime. You know what I'm saying? When it came to the candidates in the primary, you know what I'm saying? And now everyone's behind Joe, and you can't undo it. You can't pull Elizabeth Warren out now. Can't pull Bernie out now. You know what I'm saying? And now we're stuck with this flawed candidate who basically can't shut the fuck up sometimes, right? And even when you said the thing with Charlemagne, listen, this is my big thing from it. He never addressed what Charlemagne asked him.
What was the question that Charlemagne asked him?
What's your black agenda?
Yeah.
The question wasn't about, like, he went into all of this. If you vote for him, the question he asked was
about what he did, not what he's going to do.
Yes. What is it that what are you passing to us to receive our votes? That's the question. Because no one with black people ever has to answer this question. It's just come out and vote for me and I got hot sauce in my bag, right? And no one has to come out and tell us, listen, in year 2, black people, you're going to start seeing blah, 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 blah happen. Nobody addresses that because they don't want to address that, right? So to me, I mean, it's fucked up. I mean, that's just the honest to God truth.
I think it kind of crystallizes the point. I'm sorry before you hop in. I think it kind of crystallizes the point of what Charlemagne was saying. The Democrats take the black vote for granted. Because you show up, you say what you need to say, and then you expect the vote to come out there. Unfortunately, we're put in this position, spray tan ass over there, racist ass. You know we should not, with the majority of us, know we should not fuck with him. But at the same time, we have what we're gonna call him, Uncle Papa Smoke.
Uncle Pop Smoke.
Uncle Papa Smoke. But he goes on black media and feels like he's just is so comfortable, entitled, and comfortable to say something like that, even if it was a joke and cavalier. Come on, man, you got to think bigger than that. See?
I know he wouldn't say that about Jewish people.
Yeah. I mean, well, Trump says shit like that all the time, but
Trump is he's certified. He's certified, right?
Certified.
He's a wacko. But like, I mean, just comprehend the fact that this motherfucker, right? Like, listen, and this is the problem with black folks. We allow these motherfuckers to step out too fucking much, right? There's not enough motherfucking respect. If they knew that shit could happen, the motherfuckers would be like, man, fuck you. They wouldn't do it. My last part before you jump in said, we said that to Joe Biden, but I think the Democrats in general has to come back with something for us because we the motherfuckers helping y'all out. You know how many motherfuckers shit you don't win? Yes. Them. Right? And you're like, come the fuck on. Go ahead, Sid.
My point is, shouldn't it be the other way around? We as African Americans should have a plan and agenda to present to the politicians that's asking for our votes, not the other way around. What you gonna do for us? No, here's our agenda. Are you going to do this?
Push it through
so you could earn our vote. It's not supposed to be the other way around. We could get mad at all the other groups if we want to, but power concedes nothing without demand. We see other ethnic groups and other groups and whatnot. They have an agenda. They tell the politicians, if you don't do this, you don't earn our vote. We should be the same way.
Right. Good point.
Yeah.
Well, for me,
when you voted for Trump, Sid.
What kind of shot is that?
I don't think Sid voted for Trump. I don't think he did, but okay.
Back to you, Ryan.
I'll take it from there, Sid. You know I don't like Uncle Joe. I didn't like him when we were talking about in the primaries. I felt that this guy was an idiot, and I felt like the Democratic Party, I'm so upset with them because I try not to just blindly align with the side, but I certainly align with Democrat over Republican, especially when you got a guy like Trump as your main guy on the Republican side.
Right.
So
I think he just told us he voted for W. Go ahead, please continue.
He couldn't vote there.
So with the Democratic Party, I thought that this was the year you go with Bernie just based on the candidates that they had for the primary. Not saying that he was the best overall, but out of the pool, I thought he was the best overall because you can't just go with the Hillary playbook 2.0. Like, oh, you know what we need? We need a Hillary with a penis. Let's go with Uncle Joe. That'll be what we need. Like, that's what I felt like their game plan was for this 4 years trying to figure out something. And Joe, like, to me, when I heard this, it felt like one of those white people that, like, are cool with black people, so they just feel they can say whatever they want when they want. Like, I'm different. I'm a different kind of white. I'm basically black. And I wonder, like, what would Obama say to something like hearing that? Like, I wonder what he called him and was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Why are you saying that crap?
I would think that you got Simone Sanders, who's running his campaign, a black woman. Obviously, he's a VP for Barack Obama, the first black biracial, but first African-American president here in the United States. I would hope that they called his ass, because that apology came out like in the middle of the day. About the middle of the day. It's not the afternoon. Yeah, because the recorded interview happened in the morning, obviously, and an apology came out later on that day. So I'm sure that somebody got to him. But this also drives home the point, and I hope that this pressure gets put on him. This is why he needs a black woman as a VP, because you're going to have somebody out there to kind of like, all right, Uncle Pop Smoke, rein your ass in a little bit, because this constituency is what got you here. So hopefully that'll be able to push it in. But one thing I knew in the interview, Charlamagne did bring up the fact that people were upset that it came out that Amy Klobuchar was being vetted. Getting vetted. He was like, hey, man, listen, I'm trying to tell you, a lot of black folks, especially black women, don't like that. And I think there's one thing that people also have to understand is when those names come out, when those leaks come out, that's probably from the campaign, kind of like doing a trial balloon to try to see, okay, let's see how this gets receptive. Let's see how this gets receptive. Amy Klobuchar didn't get a good reception. Pop that balloon. That's not going to happen. So Joe Biden did say it's multiple black women that's up for.
There's only one. If he really wants to take this home.
Wait a minute. I know I got 3 on the top of my head.
It's only one.
Who's the one?
You really want to win, you got to go with Stacey. You said when you kiss that beautiful BBW on her, and she got that holding up her pistol in the other hand, America in itself is going to bust a nut. Right? Just at that one. Right? Like, listen, ain't nobody going to care what you said about being black. You show up with her at the crib, right? We showing up, boy. Right? We're showing. Because listen, you can't go now. Don't play yourself with Harris. All right? Because you're going to get some black people to stay their ass at the crib. Right? Yeah. Russia did a number on that one. Right? Russia did a number on that one. They got her out the spot real quick. Like, young Nick. They got out the spot real quick. Wait, who's your third one, D?
Val Davis. She's a representative from Florida.
Oh no, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, but she's not that known, but she was on the prosecuting team. She's on the prosecuting team impeachment of Trump. She's in the House. She's a representative.
Oh yeah, it's only one. You gotta go get. Only one. This is the great part. This is the great part.
What's up?
Okay, that's not great. I shouldn't say that. That's wrong to say. But what if something happens like he's old and he doesn't make it? And get Stacey's president.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Now, hey, I want to kick this around everybody.
Be better than Joe.
Hey,
he said that.
Let me ask y'all this, because I think it's kind of been out there, but I don't know if it's 100% true. What's the odds? Let's say Joe Biden wins, right? He has pretty good odds right now, right? But this is only fucking May.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say he wins, and behind the scenes, where the movers and shakers, like Hamilton, the place, like back in the room where everything really happens. Let's say they come to him and was like, hey, dude, you can only do 4 years.
No, he already said that, basically.
Wait a minute. So did he say that he's only going to do that?
Okay, this is what I heard.
Only thing I've heard is say, yeah, I'm gonna get a female
what I've
woman
heard
for a vice president.
Implied is this: he views himself as setting up the next person, and he only looks at himself as a one-term
president.
Yeah, he's old, dude. He ain't
dude. He'd be like 80, he like what 81 or 82 if he went all 4 years.
Dude, look how different Barack looked after 8 years, and same with Clinton.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the only one that don't look, because he wasn't doing his job, the only one that don't look super old is George Bush.
Still
Cheney but Cheney got all that heat, but Cheney was letting off that steam with that buckshot, so he didn't age as much. But he got
somebody to shoot.
That's what I'm saying. America.
Take that intern out on a hunting trip.
He got younger, D. He got younger as soon as he bust off.
Yeah. 5 months younger.
But so again, that's what I heard implied maybe a week or two ago. Again, I haven't heard it out of his mouth verbatim, but he looks at himself as he's setting up the next person so that they can take that run. So you gotta be thorough. Go ahead, Sid.
Sid, what do you think about that?
I'm at a loss for words on this one, but whoever Biden picks, as you like say, his running mate has to be important, not just for everyone, but for the African American community. And he's got to be careful here. And like you said, he should look. I know it's not correct to say this, but he should look at himself as a one-term president because, like you said, he's like 76, 77 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever who wants to pick as his successor has to be at least 30 to 40 years younger than him. You would think, right?
Yeah.
You would hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would hope.
Wait for the next candidate. They'll get some other fossil out of somewhere and try to run the same playbook again.
But who else right now is an older lion in the Democratic Party? It's only really Hillary. It was Joe, Bernie.
I don't know. They get
Elizabeth
Warren
Warren.
or something.
I don't think
No,
he would
not
already
gonna-
did it. He would
No, I'm
already
not
ran.
saying that he's going to go or anybody. What I'm convinced is that party just wants the same bullshit over and over.
You know what? I think they're the last of that generation and that breed, man. Only one left.
Hopefully.
And honestly, I wouldn't even say Elizabeth Warren isn't even a part of that. I mean, but she's like 70 years old. So if she wanted to run again, she'd be 74 years old. So and what we're saying right now is like, do you want somebody that old being the president? Now she's a woman, and women take care of themselves a lot better than men, obviously. But I mean, she's not even on that same pack. I know. I talk to my wife all the time. She wants Elizabeth Warren to be the vice president. She's like, I want Lizzie. And you find a lot of women, black women too, that like Elizabeth Warren. So I don't know. It's very interesting to see what he's going to do. I'm with you though, Ken. I say go with Stacey.
Go Stacey, baby.
I say go with Stacey.
Man, if you want a home run, I think you go with Stacey.
The cookout would be phenomenal.
I mean, just the PR after that.
I'm just saying.
So immaculate for him.
Listen, the only problem that would hurt it is that we can't all show up due to this COVID thing at the inauguration and be out there on the Grand Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Got my grill out. Yeah, Stacey.
Need some hazmat suits.
Hey, listen, take these ribs over there to Stacey real quick. She gonna love these.
But see, everybody like Elizabeth Warren, she's in Massachusetts, right? But it's a Republican governor, so the Republican governor can appoint whoever goes to the Senate. That'll mean they're obviously gonna pick a Republican person, senator. California is so blue, man. It's like royal blue. So somebody will be, and you got Gavin Newsom, who's a governor. So obviously he replaced Senator Harris with somebody who's Democrat, and that Democrat will probably win anyway. That's why that's why I do think she has a good chance. Governor Gretchen. Is her last name Gretchen up there
in Michigan?
In Michigan? Yeah, but she's a governor. I think a lot of people like her because she's going back and forth with Trump, and her numbers are actually higher than his are basically on this whole COVID thing, even though she got like a few hundred people out there cutting hair illegally and showing up with guns and shit. And then you get the black folks showing up with guns. Michigan is going through a whole other thing, but she's a governor, so maybe. But that's why I look at Stacey like she's not in office right now. She is doing phenomenal grassroots wise and getting the message out there. She basically telling the dude, hire me. I'm here for you.
Dude.
I'm here for you. Hire me.
It'd be like he brings old Oprah out.
Oh, Ken.
Right? You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. Oh, they love her. Remember? They love it. They used to let her in their house all the damn time in the 80s and 90s. All right, let's do this. Let's run through this real quick.
Right.
This from Digital Spy. Mel Gibson's new movie, Force of Nature, has created a major controversy even before its release.
No shit.
The movie takes place in Puerto Rico during a Category 5 hurricane, with Gibson playing Ray, who, along with his daughter, Kate Bosworth, refused to evacuate his apartment during the storm. As a disgraced cop, Cardillo, played by Emily Hirsch, tries to get them to leave, a gang of thieves arrives to carry out a heist, leaving Ray, his daughter, and Cardillo to team up to fight them. Once the trailer was released on Monday, May 18th, Force of Nature created an instant controversy as Puerto Ricans who experienced the Hurricane Maria, as well as a struggle they've dealt with on the island, let their feelings known. Approximately 400,645 people died because of the hurricane, approximately because it was bad enough we don't even have the exact numbers, one Twitter user said.
Yeah.
People buried their dead in their backyards. People were without food, water, home, electricity for months. This is not an okay movie. Others criticized the movie for its white savior narrative, with Gibson's character fighting a bunch of bad guys, Ricans. Also, the good guy cops are white, while another called it outright disrespectful.
What the hell, Mel? I mean, I guess we shouldn't think too much of you anyway, based off those tapes. But what? These folks just went through this hurricane. And you gonna go down there talking about I'm about to fight some Puerto Ricans? Why the Puerto Ricans gotta be robbing your ass doing all this?
Why
whole
can't it be
thing?
Florida? Just like some freaking white people hanging out with white people.
How about this? How about they trying to rob your ass because you hoarding all the damn water and shit, and you keeping everything to yourself, and these folks out there trying to make it, but you want to fight these bad.
But that makes Mel Gibson look like a dick.
What the fuck?
Listen. Let me tell you something.
God.
Do you know how fucking ridiculous it is that Mel Gibson is still out here making that box office are banking on him?
Kate Bosworth is in the movie.
After the shit that he's pulled, and you still think these motherfuckers are your friends?
Man.
Right? Just think about that. Think about this. That's let you know how fucked up America is. Right? We're like, man, he said that shit, but I still love him. Right? Like, I love him. Fuck it. He played Hamlet and he was in Lethal Weapon. You can't love it. Like, dude, the stuff that he said, we just met each other when that had came out. All right. And I'm listening, like me and Did just met each other around the time that had come out. Now, and listen, that's just one of the things that he's done.
One of the things.
It's just one of the things. All right, but Sid, you got something to say real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Someone on Mel Gibson's team should tell him, dude, please get out your own way. You're not helping yourself right now.
Facts.
Yeah.
Listen, look, we got to run through this real quick, guys. This is going to take a turn through sports real quick.
Okay.
I added this morning. CBS Sports. Former NFL quarterback Ryan Leaf has been arrested for misdemeanor domestic battery in Palm Springs, California. TMZ first reported it. Leaf was taken into custody Friday afternoon. Details of the incident are not clear. All that's currently known, according to the information available on the Riverdale County Sheriff's Department website, is Leaf was booked on a single charge and his bail was set for $5,000. So can't do right. Did it again.
Yeah, but didn't he have like a real quick, kind of not a come to Jesus moment? Not saying that, but he kind of like turned his kind of life around.
That's how he became an analyst on ESPN.
On ESPN.
Yeah, he was doing stuff for Fox Sports too.
And didn't he have a huge drug problem?
Yes.
Before?
Yeah. Broke into a house because of drugs. Yeah. So he
probably
Didn't
they find him in somebody's tub or something? Didn't they find him like in somebody's tub? He was high or something.
I feel like he needs some help.
Yeah.
Like CTE help.
Then this one, former New York Nick Great and current Georgetown head basketball coach Patrick Ewing announced Friday that he was tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as they came out with The Last Dance, he wasn't going to let Mike get all the last say.
Oh, no.
Oh, Mike, you think you bad? You think you so bad, Mike? I'm going to show you something right now.
Oh,
Kevin, it's like last Thursday. Can we save the news till Monday? I want to get these last 2 episodes out of the way.
No. Hey,
all right,
listen,
guys.
I hope he's doing good. I know he's in the hospital right now, but I hope he's all right.
And I liked it earlier, and then I saw you liked the same thing. And Charles Oakley, who had kind of been coming at Pat Ewing, was like, I still got your back.
Yeah.
I've been by your side 10 years. I'm going to ride by you again, wishing Pat Ewing the best. And Pat Ewing didn't take the bait. He was giving props to Oakley when the ESPN interviewed him. Last but not least, fortunately, it's particularly important here in Chicago. The Utah Jazz announced Friday that longtime coach Jerry Sloan died. He was 78. Sloan had Parkinson's disease and Lewy body dementia. The former NBA player Sloan was jazz coach for 23 years from 88 to 2011 until he stepped down because of Deron Williams. That's not in here, but I'm just going to let you know. And, of course, we know that he's a all-time great Chicago Bull. His numbers up in the rafters. So we definitely wish Jerry Sloan a happy homecoming. Yeah. And his family. He lost his wife a long time ago. Compared to now, he lost his wife a long time ago. I think he was living in Peoria. So he was living downstate, I think.
Did you see how Deron was saying how he's so happy he made up with him? Otherwise, he would have had such a regret because I guess they had a mutual coming together before.
Yeah, I think that's definitely good. I mean, it would have been a lot better for his career had he just played under Jerry Sloan and never left Utah. Like
Big time.
Listen, a good chance he may have been a Hall of Famer. He just stayed in that pick and roll and did what Jerry Sloan wanted him basically to do. But the power stroke takes place. D?
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us at D and Davis Show, at Demons1, at That's Davis, at Sid Kid 80, Ryan B. Ski, and at Ryan B. Ski 1.
We'll definitely be back with sports with D and Davis Show, even though there's a lot of sports in this. Don't do anything crazy before you hear from us again.
We go.
Keep your hands to yourself.
The Flip.